Hi, book club members. I'm Jen.
And I'm Carrie.
And this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 134, and our book is Oaths of Damnation by Robbie MacNiven. It tells the story of the Exorcists chapter, a not often seen chapter.
I'd never heard of him.
Same, actually. We posted several questions on our website, WH40kbookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via Twitter, YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Vox channel. Spoiler, if you haven't yet read the book, check it out before listening to this episode, as we'll be talking about the book from start to finish in great detail. With that, let's dive in. As always, Carrie, did you like the book?
I really did. I had fun.
I really did too.
From beginning to end. I really enjoyed it.
I have decided, bear with me here, I think Robbie MacNiven might be the modern equivalent of Graham McNeill.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm. He writes solid bolter porn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a deep or super complex story. It's just solid start to finish. It has a very good beginning, middle, end. He sticks the landing, and I came for big burly spacemen shooting monsters, and you know what I got? Big burly spacemen shooting at monsters. It's a little deeper than that, obviously, but
It was some horror elements, some psychological horror and everything as well. It was kind of fun.
Yes, very much so. This was, as we're recording here, a few days before Halloween, the perfect spooky season book.
Agreed.
What part stood out to you?
Oh my gosh. So, no, we were like just talking about this before the podcast, but the scene that stood out to me the most is when Morden is explaining to Artax what the Exorcists are, that they have no souls, or their souls are shattered because of, bringing in the demons and then casting them out. And Artax is like, they brought them in and then banished them. They betrayed them. I totally imagine him clutching his pearls and just being like, how dare they? Betrayal? That's just the worst. And I'm like, bruh. And I never say bruh, but bruh. You're a veteran of the Long War. You mentioned it quite a few times. Like, do you really want to talk about betrayal?
That's what is so funny to me is that, so by the way, I was thinking he referred to them as like soulless, but I was thinking of them more as soul dead, like they've killed their soul, right, in this process. When Morden first realizes what's going on, when he's that first exorcist, when he's like trying to maybe possess him and he like recoils from it, like, what? Like, also pearl grasp, right? Like, oh my God.
This is a monster. Like, dude.
One of the things that I think is becoming Robbie MacNiven's idiom. So if you think back to Red Tithe, right, there was a lot of the Carcharodons versus the Night Lords. And this juxtaposing of no, the Carcharodons are not just loyalist Night Lords, right? And as we first started reading this book, I was like, oh, these guys are just loyalist word bearers. No. And I like that he drove home that point with the word bearers being like, absolutely not.
We would, like, the betrayal thing's what killed me the most. We would never betray. Like, that's kind of funny because the demons have no problem betraying you guys. Like, literally ever.
We're going to talk a lot more about that particular piece.
Our pacts are real. Oh, pumpkin.
We're going to talk so much more about that later because, oh my God. One of the other things that stood out to me that I really liked was Cadus. I liked him referring to, actually, they both, because the word bearers also referred to Dorn as the Praetorian. I liked him calling the Primarchs by their like nickname, basically. Like when he's talking to Morden, when Morden wants to ascend to demonhood, and he's like, oh yeah, another little demon prince for the Aurelians collection, huh?
Oh God, that cracked me up.
And then when he's also, because he also mentions, he's like, I wonder what the Praetorian would think about you boys. Like, that is, I love that, especially given that we know how much names have power. Mm-hmm. In the warp, the fact that he's using like their nicknames, as it were, is just,
well, at one point,
as it were.
I don't remember if it was Cadus or if it was the demon inhabiting Morden who actually called Lorgar by his other nickname, the Urizen, which is a nickname that Corferon gave him. It's like, that was interesting. But they're saying that they said they're blessed by Erebus, I think. It's like, oh, that's cute. That's cute.
That and $1 will get you a cup of recap.
Wow. And you guys think demon betrayal is bad, and you're aligned with Erebus. This is just better and better.
But that also adds even more humor to them just being so disgusted by the Exorcists. Like, you're Erebus's boys. You're word bearers. Like, you're some of like the sleaziest of the sleaze. Well, I guess if we're using the word sleazy, I guess technically that's Fulgrim's boys. You're some of like the slimy. No, that would be Nurgle. Anyways, regardless, you're some of the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is just too much for you. That's too much. So, what did you think of The Exorcists as a chapter? Let's start there.
Extreme.
Extreme.
I mean, yes. Yes. I mean, they even wear just like, they don't wear helmets. They just wear the half masks because that's how extreme they are. Damn it. You know, all the writings on their heads.
Choice.
Right. Yeah,
that was another part that I really enjoyed in the very beginning when he bursts in and he saves those two guardsmen. And she's like, please don't kill me, because she just assumes he's a traitor Marine. And he comes out and he's like, woman just asked me not to kill her.
Don't they know who I am? It's like,
right.
Well,
It's Vay is like, we probably look a little weird to him.
Yeah.
Your script, again, loyalist word bearers until they weren't.
I mean, you know who else had script all over his head? Erebus. I mean, I was half wondering, it's like, how? So at the very beginning, right? And that Inquisitor, I was like, first of all, I'm surprised the Inquisitors know these guys exist, because I would think that would be something they would shut down. But the fact that for the exorcism, an Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus is there, I almost wonder if this is like some of the, they're called Xanthites, where they're just like, we just want to dabble in this, see what happens. I wonder if some of this is like, their science fair project. Let's see what happens if we do this. Like, what happens next? What do we do with them? It's interesting. I have
the implication there
questions.
I have a lot of questions.
Like, how did y'all think to do this? for starters, especially with y'all being from Dorne.
We're gonna talk a lot more about Dorne in these.
Or were they just like, the Black Templars are not extreme enough?
That's right. They woke up one day and were just like, we could be more extreme than that.
Yeah.
Monster Energy drink was definitely involved in those decisions.
I mean, they're very angry, but we're going to try not having any feeling at all.
You're the canon angry Marines. We're the canon.
We're the canon Zoloft Marines.
There's a weird implication there, though, with the Inquisition. The fact that the Ordo Malleus knows about them, regularly
but
deals
not
with them.
Everything about them.
Not everything, but knows that they have demons imprisoned in some of their aspirants, because that's what kickstarted this whole book. There's a weird, and all I could think of the whole time I was reading this book is I was like, this is the goddamn Inquisition's fault. There is some, I'm willing to bet the entirety of the Ordo Malleus does not know about them. It's like a group of them. Like you said, like the Xanthites, or like some group of people who are just like, we'll allow it, who have sanctioned this, which adds some legitimacy to what they're doing, but then also makes it feel sketchier.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first, my first thought was, until I realized really what was going on with that Inquisitor from the beginning, is I was like, oh, there's no way the Inquisition. Oh no, actually the Inquisition did sanction this. Oh, it makes it a little sketchier, honestly.
Yeah.
There's like a sect of Inquisitors who are just like, as one does.
I mean, really, to be honest, you have the Inquisition involved in anything, that automatically makes it super sketch. Whether they're Xanthites or not. But I'm pretty I really wouldn't be surprised if this particular section was this is a science fair project. They're getting their tri-panels ready. What if we called this demon? What'll that do?
I did like the idea. Let's talk a little bit about well, actually, let's first off, did any of them, other than obviously Vey and Zaidu, who we get to know a lot, did any of the other characters really jump out to you? Did you like any of them? Were you rooting for any of them?
I liked Uten.
I liked him. I liked Anu a lot.
Oh yeah, Anu was awesome.
Anu was awesome. Really liked him. I really liked the whole. I liked.
Belloc, how you pronounce his name?
Belloc.
I said Belloc because it reminded me of Indiana Jones, but Belloc, I liked him a lot too.
I actually really liked them for being, in general, for being soul dead and not having a lot of emotion or connection. They were actually very interesting and easy to like. Not necessarily approve of, but like, I found the whole, like, their whole order thing, like they're having their little secret societies. Vey's explanations of them I found very interesting when he's just like, this is just going through the motions, trying to have some sort of human connection as
Right.
brothers.
Because
We
they
have
feel
these
nothing
things.
for each other.
Exactly. Like they kind of do, but it's like a ghost of an emotion. Like I liked how they kept saying like
they do. That's pragmatic, right? I don't want them.
Right.
I don't want them to die, but I'm not sad if they do. If I am sad, it's because we're down people and we need more numbers. Like it's very, very much that. And you know, honestly, when Robbie MacNiven included the chapter on Zaidu's initiation, I was like, why are we doing this? And then it's at the end of it, I realized why. When he completes it, and he was like, he had this burning hunger. He couldn't wait for this. And now that it was here, he was just, like, oh, that's why he included that. Because that's very, very important.
Very important to see them kind of die. And I did like the number of times that like they thought that maybe they should feel something, but they just couldn't. Like even with Anu, right? I found the whole scrying thing. Ooh, I had such mixed feelings about that because I'm like, that's heresy, Carl. But also very interesting.
Well, you can also argue their entire chapter is heresy, Carl. I mean,
Well, I mean, but I found that very interesting. But also, like, even in the end, like, he gets a little upset, but also maybe a little confused. Like, he didn't really know how to process the ghost of emotions that he had about killing either Vey or Zaidu, right? Of this just like, like, so when he tells Vey his vision, there's kind of this like, like, I don't know. It seems upsetting. Like, I feel like I should tell you this. I don't know. Like, they don't have, that just kind of made me sad is that you guys are really, well, shit, maybe that's why the word bearers struggled with that so much is like, you are completely broken as human beings. Like, they're already kind of broken as human beings being space marines, but man, you are just broken. Well, that kind of makes it sad now.
everything about them is sad.
Oh, yeah, agreed. Let me ask you how you felt about the whole demon possession / like demon sibling. Did that make them more interesting? Did you have questions? Was it compelling?
Like you're talking about like the echoes, or just the fact that
The echoes. So like Anu in particular with the little Slaanesh demon.
that just made me even sadder
haunting him.
for him. Like, it's, you know, he's already like lost part of his soul, but the part that's remained is an echo of this demon just constantly yapping in his ear and making him doubt himself. Man, what a tortured existence.
It's a tortured existence, and it feels so petty on the demon's part, which,
Well, that's kind
I
of,
understand that's how demons do.
well, it's also, you know, that is a Slaaneshian demon, right? So it's kind of part of their idiom.
Yeah, it's a demonette, so yeah, they're definitely not the chillest of people. But I found it interesting and just kind of sad. Like, why are you even toying with him? You can't do anything, really. You're just being a dick for the sake of it. And it makes it sad, especially with as broken as they are and soul dead or broken. Like, having a Slaneshi demon talking to you. I did like when he took the kill shot at the end and he was like, it was perfection.
I laughed at that. I was like, well, I guess Fulgrim would be proud.
Right. Yeah, somewhere, like, yeah, straight up Slanesh was like, mm-hmm. I did find it interesting, and here's where I wonder if the obvious question is obvious. Are they playing a little too much with fire? It sounds like the majority of the demons that they summoned were lower demons. And then Kadis showed up. Every now and then, the ritual goes wrong, and you actually get somebody who's BFFs with Scarbrand.
Again, I'm telling you, this was a science fair project. He's like, well, we've done the lesser demons. What if we brought a named demon?
Well, he definitely didn't mean to, because when they go back and they talk about Zaidu's thing, he's like, oops.
All right, so
whoops.
Maybe they didn't mean to. Doesn't mean the Inquisitor didn't set this shit in motion to make it happen. I mean, I don't trust the Inquisitors.
That's possible. But then another, like, Occam's razor, there's also, or actually not Occam, Scanlan's razor here. Do they really understand what they're doing?
No.
Like, it's entirely possible that they're like, nope, this is how you call in minor demons. We understand all of this. And some larger demons like, whoa, wait, what? And they're like, we just go through the motions. Like, we don't really understand what we're doing. I don't know. It makes me wonder. The word bearers, maybe they should have asked the word bearers.
Well, they had a lot of forbidden texts.
True.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were written in Colchizian. Just saying.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, but I could also argue several times.
Dorn's sons have an entire library of Colchizian text. I refuse to believe, but it probably is the case.
But the word bearers, I don't know how much they really know what they're doing either, right? They think they do.
Oh, we're going to talk more about that in a second, because that just feels like straight up arrogance.
The word bearers? Arrogance? I don't know what Warhammer you're reading.
I should have told you to sit down first, that I was going to have a revelation.
I mean, shit, Corferon and Erebus are the most humble people in the whole Horus Heresy. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's true, though. It's definitely true, though. Oh my God, I hate them so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were like, we're loyal to Erebus, I was like, ugh. But then my first thought was, I guess better than being loyal to Corferon?
The correct answer is C.
None of the above.
To neither.
That's probably true. Yes, it's vomit milkshake or shit sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep going back to your point. The Inquisition could have just been like, let's just see what happens here, or just they don't really know what they're doing, and
or a little bit of both.
Don't really understand how the warp works, and that when you have this gene seed in this dude, some major demon might be like, oh, that one in particular.
I mean, especially since he had Demetrius's gene seed, right? It's like a big shiny beacon. Like, oh, wait, I don't like that guy. I'm coming in.
It also, have you ever seen the fishing videos where people are fishing for mahi or something like that, and then a shark comes along? You've just cast your bait out into the water, and you're just hoping something grabs it, and then a shark appears. I'm just saying.
Shark's just thanks. I was looking for that guy all day.
Right? That was convenient. Thank you. I appreciate you. It feels like that's very much what they're doing here. Did you like Vey? Was he a good mentor? Well, let's just start there. Did you like him as a character?
Yeah, I did. I have some questions about, how with him having his soul shattered, he's still able to touch the warp, but, maybe I don't understand how any of this works either.
That was a little unclear in general. Is that, okay, we do this, we break our souls, and now demons want no interest in us. They basically we're immune to demon possession, right? But our demon siblings still talk to us. I mean, and we really have to be worried about this Cadus guy.
So it's the whole thing is so you got the Grey Knights, right? Who their gene seed is actually directly from the Emperor, so that's why they're immune. There's that route. Or have you tried possession and then banishment? Blessing of the Emperor, damned for all eternity. These are the choices you have.
Right? I guess. So they're soul. That's why I kept referring to them as soul dead.
Right, because
they can still touch the warp, so they're not blunters.
So what I kind of got from it was that they're just missing large pieces of their souls. Right. It's broken.
They're less, and then I guess initially I thought that they were just like straight up immune, right? That this makes them immune. But I guess really what it does is makes them less interesting. They're not quite orcs, but there's something, they're not blunters or orcs. There's a little interesting about them, but I don't know. I guess the equivalent would be like when somebody offers you a candy bar that you don't like, and you're just like, sugar, I guess. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, there's something that, like those, when you used to go trick-or-treating and you would get those shitty Palmer's chocolate coins. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, chocolate's still chocolate, right? Like,
that's not chocolate.
No, it's wax.
It's wax.
It's just super, super low grade. But like, sounded so pissy the way I said that. I used to eat the shit out of those ones when I was a kid because that's all that we got in my small ass town that I grew up in. Not judging. Anyways, I felt like that was.
I mean, I ate them too because it was candy, dude.
Dude, it's candy, but it's less interesting candy. Like you ate the Snickers and the Reese's peanut butter cups first.
Yep, and I always tossed out the Smarties.
Those are my favorite.
Smarties and the Pixie Sticks. Nope.
Oh my God. I used to trade away my Snickers for the Pixie Sticks because, oh God.
Oh man. Yeah, but you don't like chocolate, so that makes sense. But
I like my sugar to taste like sugar.
I mean, that's there you go. The exact. I bet you like the licking sticks too, didn't you?
Yes, but the stick itself was the best part. I'm just throwing that. It's almost Halloween, you guys. We have to talk Halloween candy, but that's kind of what I figure it's like a lick and stick. Like if somebody gave that to you in your Halloween bag when you were a kid, you'd be like, I'll get to it eventually.
I actually did like the lick and sticks, not the Pixie Sticks, but the lick and sticks I had fun with, even though they made my tongue bleed because I would eat all 3 packets in the same day. Like,
oh God, I can feel the texture of your tongue after eating that stuff. Ugh, like 50 grit sandpaper in your mouth.
Oh, but do you know the candy I wasn't allowed to have, which was fine with me, was the sugar daddies.
I like those. Were like one of the few chocolate things that I legitimately
It's not chocolate.
Loved. Oh, you mean the sugar babies? You mean the sugar daddies? I liked those, but you could never get through a whole one.
Well, I was eating one once and it stuck in my teeth and I had a hard time getting it out. And then another guy who was in my group, he actually popped out a filling in it. Never ate one ever again.
I don't even know if they still make those. Dots will also pull out your fillings. I used to love those as a kid. I can't even eat them now.
Dots? Really? I didn't know they would pull out your fillings. Dang.
Oh my God. If you got like stale
those things.
Dots, it's because they're delicious. Anyways, Halloween candy aside. I guess that did kind of confuse me because he's straight up psychering. So maybe that's what makes him a little bit more appealing than others. Just, I guess maybe age and maybe he naturally just had a little psych. I don't know. They all had a little bit of psycheriness, but he was
wondered if he had like a little more soul left because first of all, with the psycher thing, but he also actually seemed to care.
He did seem to care more than everybody else did. Like narratively, he was our moral compass and the character that we were supposed to probably relate to the most because he wasn't completely numb. He did maybe just after a while, like after you've been alive for a long time and your soul starts to slowly but surely mend. It's like your liver. It takes a long time, but it will eventually heal itself. The soul is stored in the liver. You heard it here first.
We're not doctors, people, so please do not take our medical advice.
I have an English degree.
Me too.
I'm not a doctor, but I played one once in high school theater.
I never even played one on TV, so I got nothing.
it made it that was the only thing about the Exorcist in general that I was like, okay, so you've banished the demon, but they still kind of talk to you. And it feels a little bit like, especially with Anu, I was like, this bitch is straight up trying to corrupt you. But again, maybe it's because that was just funny to her. And she was just like, I did.
She reminded me of Cortana from Halo. And that just the annoying bitch just yapping in my ear.
Press X to insert katana. With Vey, I did feel a little bit bad with him, because talk about one of the most useful talents that one of the demons could bless you with, being able to taste when someone was lying.
Oh, seriously.
But also, like, as a human, that would be so irritating
Oh,
and
yeah.
awful. Could you imagine? Like, you think you would love to know when people were lying, but on the other hand, you probably would not.
Especially when you have kids.
Yeah.
Be tasting sweetness like all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. You just be like, damn, this is like a tube of Smarties.
What about if you lie?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Would be interesting. I thought
If you lie,
like,
do you give off a sweet scent?
oh my God. Just everybody knows. Maybe you can't lie. I don't know.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm derailing a lot tonight.
I am too. Vey in general, I think he needed that humanness. Do they just maybe that was intentional? Maybe like for their, like the mentor figures, like that role that he served. They're like, okay, you get to keep just a little bit more of your soul, because we need somebody to talk to the humans.
And maybe it's also
like the commissars with the Krieg. Someone's gonna have to talk to the natives.
I wonder if it's also because they have to do the rites. They need to be a little understanding and caring. A little bit.
Could be. Did he deserve his ending?
Does anybody? That's awful.
That's so awful. And
because I've been wondering, like the whole book, I was like, what is the Purgatomb? I'm very curious about that name. I'm like, we're going to get to the end and they're not going to mention it. We're going to go look it up in Lexicanum. Oh no, there it is. That's awful. That is awful.
Yeah. They had kind of hinted.
Right, but you weren't exactly sure.
And then, yeah. Yeah.
The other one I felt bad for was Ashad.
Oh my God. When he starts fighting Cadus and you recognize that, oh no, there's still some humanity in this guy. Oh no, 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 no. I liked the idea that you failed at becoming a brother, but you won't fail. Like, you still do serve the chapter. I really liked when Zaidu was like, you are a member of our order now, by the way, as ordained by me. Because you did a good job, and then he dies. And you're like, there you go, we're good. That was also that was one of my first, like, oh no, I'm going to feel things in this book. Where he's talking with Cadus and he's like, nope, absolutely not. Turned out absolutely yes. Actually.
Right.
Cadus was a jerk, just so we're clear. No, nobody deserves the ending. However, I did like that Vey felt a little bit responsible. Like, I should never have called this demon down. I should have maybe researched this a little bit more. I clearly messed something up. I did this to Zaidu. I then brought Zaidu on this mission. Oh no! He didn't deserve it, but I felt like he would have thought that he did. Does that make sense?
I think he also was thinking that he's old, right? It's time for the new ones to come up.
Time for the new ones to come up. Time for the new ones to take over, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And give Zaidu like a little bit of peace, because apparently he hasn't really had it since the demon was not totally gone, as they believed.
Right. A little bit more of a ghost than they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Were you invested in Zaidu? Did you like Zaidu?
I did. I liked Zaidu a lot.
I liked Zaidu. He was kind of a loyalist. He was almost a loyalist world eater in his just like the idea of being out for the hunt and being just driven by this blood demon. Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was a good character. I was a little bit more invested in Vey and Anu. I liked a lot of the side characters a little bit more than Saidu. I can't really.
Well, yeah. I mean, I probably liked Anu better. And I was like really, really hoping Anu was not going to kill Saidu.
I did like when Saidu put together and he's like, oh, I know what happens and it happened to me now. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He helped Anu achieve perfection. Okay, we have to talk about the word bearers a little bit here. First off, were they compelling antagonists? Did they fit in the story? Did they add to it? Did you like them?
Well, I was entertained by Artax, I'll say that. And it's mainly because
I
of
loved Artax.
just because of his lamenting. It was like, man, this all sucks. Like, I don't know what we're doing. The long war, like nothing happened. Like, why are we still doing this? What was the purpose of it? And then when he gets to his end and he was like, I was right all along. There is no purpose to any of this. I guess I'll die.
Are you suggesting that the character named Artax succumbed to the swamp of sorrows? I want you to know that as soon as I saw Artax as a name, I was like the never-ending story? And then he kept going and I was like, oh my god, yes, this is exactly what this is. I was kind of like, oh, this is good. It's a good book, you know, just kind of like, meh, okay, whatever. Until chapter 25, which is where Morden realizes he is not in control and he's been played.
Who would have seen that coming?
Okay, y'all. Like, these people, all of the Chaos Marines, y'all, like, we sit there and we make fun of the Thousand Sons and we make fun of Ahriman, who just keep trusting the demons and keep trusting this random inspiration that I just got. Wonder where that came from. Oh my god, it's a demon again. Like, Sideshow Bob on the rakes, right? They're not alone in this. They're not alone in this. And the word bearers who were like, throughout that, Morden especially, god, nothing bad enough could happen to that guy.
I love how Morden starts name dropping demons. Like, I've already talked to this guy, this guy, this guy. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Oh, snap. Yeah. I laughed so hard, that reveal, when he's like, I talked with Scarbrand and they can't stand you. And then afterward, he's like, yeah, no, Scarbrand's been helping me set this up the whole time. It's like, you fucked up. You trusted them.
That's exactly what I thought when that happened. I was like, oh man, Animal House just lives on forever.
Well, it also reminded me of, again, my favorite South Park episode where the devil agrees to fight Jesus.
Oh.
And everybody bets on the devil and then he throws the fight. And everyone's like, what a mean thing to do. That guy's a jerk. All I could think of with Cadus, like, that guy's a jerk. You thought? Like, again, do not.
Speaking of betrayal, sir.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Like, the arrogance. For me, it's the audacity. That you guys think.
And the fact that even Zordon was like, you like your axe? I have it. You don't get it anymore.
Like, I was totally on Team Cadus in that moment. I was like, oh god, I hope he breaks free and beats you with that axe. I know. Of course not. Like, you think you're in control. Why? Why do you think that? Is it okay, bear with me for a second. Did you never put two and two together that you had a demon inside of you? Maybe he was manipulating you.
Oh, but I let him in. Like, I could get rid of him at any time.
I loved when Cadus was like, yeah, he let you think you dominated him. Like, demons live forever. They got just
nothing but time.
They got nothing but time. Oh, I got to hang out in you for like 3,000 years? Okay. Like, you never stopped. Like, you see. Here's the thing that I don't understand. Sometimes
it was a Zinch demon too, wasn't it? So just like
you see.
They
see what happens.
The Zinch demons play the long game, friend. 3,000 years, it's all coming together. Just like, no big deal.
Yeah, nothing but time. This is the funniest. Like, they will wait 3,000 years for the punchline to drop. Oh, and guess what, darling? You're the punchline. It just, you see, like, you are a denizen of the warp.
Mm-hmm.
You see what happens with all these demons and all these people. Like, you know things. You know more than the Imperials do. And yet, it's just, again, the arrogance. The arrogance on these people.
What was that
It
line
offends
from
me.
Devil's Advocate? Vanity. It's got to be my favorite sin.
It's just, and I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess technically Lorgar's sons have always been a little bit on the arrogant side, right? Because they were the first ones to really embrace chaos, and they really have learned about this, and they don't do anything so gauche as worship one chaos god. They're about chaos undivided.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. So, like, they just have this air, and Morden in particular has this air of like, I know how all of this works, and I've got this. Again, nothing bad enough could happen to this character in my mind. I'm personally affronted by him. So I was very, very delighted in his end.
Yeah, I was too.
Artax, on the other hand.
At least he went out doing what he loved.
His whole dynamic was so much fun to watch because, yeah, I love the idea. So I don't know why, you guys. There is just something to me. It grabs me about the Warhead, the Trader Marine characters who regret. So, like in Storm of Iron, Forex. I loved Forex, right? Where he's just like, yeah, this sucks, and life really has no meaning. And he goes out doing what he loved, fighting a goddamn Titan in single combat, as one does. I really like the characters who are like, we backed the wrong horse.
Yeah.
So the fact that this guy's just like, meh, and for a moment there, he gets a glimmer of hope, right? Like, oh, you're going to ascend to demonhood? Yeah, okay. That's going to be proof. That's going to be proof that we are not just meaningless curs to these things and that we've been doing all of this for nothing. And his revelation at the end was so sad.
Yeah, it was.
So sad of just, nope, we're not even human. We're just enhanced monsters created to go and hunt monsters for one master or another.
Yes.
And, yeah, he succumbed. He succumbed to the Swamp of Sorrows.
And honestly,
that's what
I
fell
love
in
the
love with
fact
this
that some of Morden's last thoughts were, damn it, Artax was right.
I can't think of the character's name right now, but the word bear, when Morden is like full in his glory of I'm ascending, and the one word bearer who's like bleeding and coming apart at his scalp and everything is like, no, you dumb bastards. You were so caught up in whether or not you could.
Yeah.
No, you could not. Okay, I have to ask you this. What would Rogel Doran think of these sons of his?
Well, if he's not, I mean, if he is dead, not saying he is or isn't, but if he is dead, he is spitting in that grave.
If he isn't dead, maybe this is why he hasn't come back. He takes a look at the Black Templars and he takes a look at the Exorcists and he's just like, oh my God, no, I can't.
He's just not ready to come back with a fresh, renewed hatred for work. He's just gonna hang out wherever he is.
Okay, so I really loved Vay's comment when he was like, it is Dorn's stoicism that allows us to be this way. Because the whole time I was
possibly.
Oh. So when Cadis early on mentions that they're sons of Dorn, I was like, that's a demon lie. Which is kind of funny, by the way, because in Space Marine 2, you can actually purchase the heraldry of the Exorcists, and they are under the unknown foundings, like with like the Carcharodons and the Taurans.
That's funny because they even say in this book they're from the 13th founding. So
yeah, like multiple times. But anyways, when they kept saying that, I was like, that's a demon lie. And then when they finally were like, we are Doran's sons, I was like, oh, well then. Like,
Well, this apple fell way far from the tree.
way far from the tree. And I always make this joke, right? Or not joke, but more of like commentary of like, you can see how some of these, as you call them, watered down chapters, you can see how this progresses, right? You have this one guy who has a thought and like a way that he thinks things should be. And he goes off and he gets to make to be the chapter master of this now new founding of a chapter, right? And then maybe he has a guy who's like, I liked what that guy was thinking, but he wasn't extreme enough. And you can just kind of see how we devolve through this game of telephone, right?
All right. So blood angels to blood drinkers.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Like you can kind of see how this progressed, right?
Except that I still don't get ultramarines to mortifactors. like I don't know what happened in there.
I actually totally get that. Like you can just see how that would have happened. But it like being a product of their world, and you have some guy who goes off who was maybe just a little on the morose and morbid side. And then he has guys who, and eventually one guy, like 2 or 3 chapter masters down the line, he's extra morbid because he's a product of that planet, right? And he's like, we have not taken this far enough, actually. And then it just kind of continues down the line. And all of a sudden you have the mortifactors and you're like, well, again, to use your phrasing, this apple fell far from the tree. Like, how did we get here? You can kind of unspool that and unwind it, but I got to tell you, I'm really coming up with blanks on this whole Exorcist thing. I liked his commentary when he's like, well, it's Dorn's stoicism that allows us to do what we do. And I'm like, okay, that actually tracks.
It does track.
That does track. What doesn't track is how we got here.
Like, again, all I could think of is it's like the Black Templars don't take this far enough.
Right? Because like, okay, who are some of their successors? Like they have the Crimson Fists, obviously. Mm-hmm. I cannot think of a single successor chapter for them right now, which is actually kind of killing me inside. There's like a Hawks in there or something. It's not the Hawk Lords. It's something else in there. Anyways, not totally important, but how, like you think about the Crimson Fist or think about the Black Templars. Actually, let's just think about the Black Templars for an example. If you had the Black Templars, how do you go from Black Templars to the fact that those exist under the same...
The Black Templars have a cross on their pauldron. The Exorcists have a horned demon head. I mean...
You're good, Ash, and I'm bad, Ash. That's all I can think of. Like, this was like the twins. This was like the good twin, and this was the bad twin.
The bad twin has the goatee.
Obviously. How? To your point though, and like not only how do you become I guess I'm answering my own question of like, you have a chapter where a guy, probably very similar to how the Grey Knights get started, right? You're like, oh, this guy had a demon in him. It's out of him now. He's fine. In fact, he's maybe a little bit better of fine. He's just a little quirky. And then maybe they find others that are like them. And okay, you need to go start your own successor chapter now. We like you. And then he's like, you know what? That actually worked out really well for me. How do you think that conversation went with the Inquisition? So what's your thing? Well, we invite demons into ourselves and we exorcise them, thus killing our souls and making us kind of emotionless. And the Inquisition was probably like, go on.
Or was it an Inquisition idea?
Oh my God. It could have been like some guy was in the Death Watch or something, was hanging out with an Inquisitor, and they have this question. I don't know, but it vexes me. Mm-hmm. I am terribly, terribly vexed. So...
Because I honestly thought, kind of like the Carcharodons, it's suggested that they're descended from the Night Lords. Is one of the suggested. It depends on what you read, Night Lords or Ravengard.
Ravengard.
It kind of goes back and forth. I actually thought maybe these guys were descended from the Word Bearers, and then they said, Dorn. And I was like, oh, didn't see that coming.
No. If you would have been like, okay, they're a loyalist, Primarch. Dorn would have been pretty far down on the list.
Yep.
He would have been above Vulcan.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I think I probably would have guessed like maybe these are Blood Angel guys. And this was how they cured the bloodthirst and the Black Rage.
Yes, that would make sense too.
That would kind of make sense, right? Yeah, Dorn would have been, oh man, that was definitely a mid-pack player in the terms of got here. Although actually now that I'm going down through my list, like they don't fit Corvus Corax's idiom. Jagatai Khan, I think would have been a hard no on this one. Lehman Russ, absolutely not. Yes, I know that they don't really have successor chapters in general because of how unstable their gene seed is, but we're just pretending here for a second.
Right.
Maybe the Ultramarines because there's so many of them.
Maybe.
Which opens a question we'll discuss here in a second about Bob. They're not Iron Hands. Like, we definitely know that. I don't know. Maybe as I'm going down through this and wheedling this out, if they're not Sanguinius's sons, Dorn is a close second.
Although I really wouldn't be surprised, though, if the Iron Hands successor chapter didn't have something similar to this, like the whole idea of the demon engine, right? Mm-hmm. We've basically made ourselves a demon engine, but what if we cast out the demon engine? The demon is part of our, engine, and now we're just soulless engines. We're closest to the Adeptus Mechanicus that we could ever be. I mean,
now so with the Garcaridans, Robbie MacNiven did two very clever things that I really appreciated that. And I'm not necessarily saying I want him to rinse and repeat. However, he kind of, thematically. Anyways, the first book was, are these loyalist Night Lords? Not really. Like, kind of, but also kind of not. Like, this is how they compare and contrast. And then the second book, he leans a little bit more towards the Raven Guard thing, but it's really, are these guys traitors? No. Let us show you what actual traitors or like neutral Marines look like. They're not that. He did a good job with that. I feel like that's the next book I need for the Exorcists. Like, I need to see, like, okay, you've shown us that they're not loyalist word bearers. Now, show me that they're not too deep into warp fuckery. I need to see more. I want another Exorcist book.
I do
too.
too.
I'm saying. I would love to see another one, but I need to see a little bit more of maybe hint a little bit more of how we got here, and also, has there ever been a family reunion where they have to be in the same room as some of the Black Templars? And if so, how did that conversation go? I feel like less than well would be the answer to that question.
I have this feeling that the Exorcists almost do their own thing, but they don't play well with others.
They don't show up to the family reunion? They're like, oh, we're busy that weekend.
If they even know that they exist.
That could be. And their name kind of gives away what they're doing here. What? Do you think Bob knows about this and Bob approves? Or do you think Bob's just like, not my circus, not my monkeys?
I think he's the latter.
Really?
Yeah.
He could be. He just looked over and was just like...
Because especially if he knows about the Malleus is involved, like he's already said he's just not willing to start an open war with the Inquisition because he knows that'd just be long and that talk about a war of attrition, right? Oh my God.
Any victory would be the very definition
of a Pyrrhic victory. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So
maybe, or he was just like, I can't deal with that right now.
Yeah, I got bigger fish to fry than whatever is going on over here. Is like, but are they on our side? Okay, cool. Then I'll deal with that. Maybe we'll have a chat with their chapter master at another time. But right now, whatever.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I think you're probably right. I think he knows and probably was just like, you know what? I don't want to know. That could also be a possibility. He's like, wait, they do what? You know what? No, don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Just go fight the good fight. Stop demons. We'll talk later. Like,
yeah.
The fact that they're all Primaris too. I was like, okay, that's.
I mean, that means that
buddy.
At least Belisarius Cawl knows about them.
Somebody had to give you the Primaris. Like,
yep.
From whence did they come? We don't know. You can just add this to the list of things that I'm sure Bob is just like, they're doing what? Okay. Like, I've got these 7,000
But will they
things
fight for
before
us?
that.
Oh, they're
Right.
loyal. Oh, then okay. Fine, whatever.
I guess we're just doing this, aren't we? Yeah, I do want another book though. I am
Yep.
curious to see like what Zaidu does next. I'm curious.
Yeah,
The
so,
chapter was good.
congratulations, Mr. MacNiven. You've maybe now care about 2 watered down chapters.
Okay, so in Space Marine 2, I wear the Carcharodon livery a lot. I cannot bring myself to wear the Exorcists because it's this weird like burnt orange red.
Ew.
Probably called sunset red or something. Actually, not the I can't think of the Warhammer name for it off the top of my head, but like if it were a crayon, it would be like sunset orange. It's really ugly and it's a lot. It's just a lot. I can't dress up. To be fair, I can't dress up as the Blood Angels either because it's just a lot of red.
Mm.
A used tampon. Anyways, I have to
Wow.
find it.
Okay. We went there. Awesome.
It's what they look like.
I mean,
Okay?
and you're bringing the blood into it as well. So this is great.
They're Blood Angels, so it's kind of thematic. Thank you.
Okay.
At least they're not it's the space ghost Marines. I want to say though, like if Robbie MacNiven's new idiom is going to be like, I'm going to tackle those kind of weird, we don't talk about these guys really chapters. I'm here for it. Like I would love to see him do a book on the Tarns. I think that would be very interesting. Or sorry, not the Tarns, the Minotaurs. I would love to see a book on that. I would love to see him tackle maybe the Legion of the Damned.
Mm.
Just throwing that out there. Yes.
Or just some other random watered down chapter I've never heard of. Or the only time I ever did was when we did the Advent calendar from Games Workshop that one year. I was like, what? What is all this? Learned a lot about.
I have the Carcharodon on my desk.
Aw. Yeah, I have them scattered like all. Wait, not there. Here. Scattered all back there. I can't. There. The mirror thing confuses me, but I'm scattered all back there through the different books. They're kind of like by what books they're mentioned. And then there's some where they're not mentioned and they're just having a huddle. But yeah.
What's funny though is that we are going from we willingly accept demons into our heart and then break them to somebody who would definitely not accept demons into their hearts. And we are, per our poll, reading next Jude Reed's
Wrong side. There we go.
Morvenval. The Spear of Faith. We bought this, God, it feels like forever ago now, but all of these new books have been coming out. So we are just now. Why would you do that? Anyways, there's going to be dog fur all over this because the special edition is flocked.
Yeah, so, and mine is still in the box unopened. Like it's still sealed shut. So like actually I'm going to have to dig that out.
I'm very excited for this book because Morvenval's, she's a big deal. And Jude Reed, we've liked her books.
Yep,
I'm
we like
curious
Jude
to
Reed.
see what she does. It's flocked and embroidered. This is embroidered. Oh my gosh,
wow.
you guys.
That's very
fancy.
It is very fancy. But yeah, so so the way that our poll worked, just in case people get curious, is how many votes each book got determines what we're reading, what the next orders. We're not going to do a poll like every single week. So was it Morvenval won for this week, and what was the next one? It's going to be Dominion Genesis.
Dominion Genesis,
And
followed
then
by Above and Beyond.
Above and Beyond. And that's probably what's going to wrap up our end of the year, believe it or not. How are we discussing this? Like, how is 2024 almost over?
No, I just don't know.
Like, I know by the time that this podcast comes out, it's going to be November, but I can't believe that November's this week.
No, not at all. I legitimately cannot believe that we're already to November. I don't know how it happened. But here we are. Just here we are.
We are here.
Again, I don't know how. Could we please go? Like, I swear to God, last weekend was August.
Well, it feels that way here, down here in Texas, because we're still having 95-degree weather because I don't know what we did down here to deserve this.
That's just kind of funny. Sorry. Not that I'm laughing at your pain.
Yeah, you are totally laughing at my pain.
I legitimately kind of am.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, we had cooler weather for like half a week. And I was like, woohoo, we're done with the 90s. And they're like, ha, 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 no.
We've been comfortable. Like we were sitting at the Air Force Academy this weekend for a state marching band competition. And I think it was 65 degrees or something like that. And we were like, oh, this is amazing.
God, that sounds so nice.
It was lovely. I don't mind telling you.
Yeah, that's how our mornings start. 65. And then it's in the 90s by the evening.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What even is Texas?
It's a big freaking state. Yep. That's what it is. That's about all I got.
It could be worse. You could be Louisiana.
Oh, the swamp. Yes. Could totally be living in the swamp.
On that note, do you want to take us out now that I've insulted the entire state of Louisiana?
Yeah, but you're technically from there. You're descended from there, so you're allowed to do that.
Yes, my family can actually trace themselves back to the original Arcadians, so I can say I speak with a degree of expertise. Expertise. Place is a shithole. Roaches, you guys. You just look. Nothing against the good state of Louisiana or its good people or its food. Everyone loves New Orleanian food. Problem is roaches. I don't even mind the swamp puppies. Don't even mind them at all. They're fine. You can at least see those things. Roaches. I grew up, born and raised in Colorado. I don't do roaches.
It must be nice to live somewhere where it's cold enough you don't get roaches.
No, or mosquitoes, but mostly roaches. No.
Okay. Are you done bragging about the horrible insects you don't have that I get to deal with all the damn time? So, are you done? Because if you're done, I'll close us out here.
Close us out.
Oh, all right. So, anyway, good God. I mean, I've already complained about the heat, and she throws in at least we don't have mosquitoes and roaches. Ha ha ha. Okay. Anyway, my life is wonderful up here in Colorado. We've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club regarding Oaths of Damnation by Robbie MacNiven. Be sure to join us next time for Morven Vol, which I don't have my copy. There it is, by Jude Reed. Oh, Dr. Jude Reed. Oh,
Jude Reed.
Yes, Dr. Jude Reed. We are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates. You can find both the vidcast and podcast on our website, WH40kbookclub.com. If you like this episode, please subscribe, and give a review, and all those wonderful things to the vidcast on YouTube and Spotify. Vidcasts on Spotify, too. Or the podcast literally anywhere you get podcasts. And come join our Discord. It's a lot of fun. A lot of discussions. Oh my God, in the meme game, I'm loving the memes people are posting these days. They're making my heart happy, especially the baby hippo memes about corn. I can't get enough of those. Just love those. And people also, they show what they're painting. It's pretty cool. I don't show what I'm painting because I don't paint. I just admire other people. And our site also has our adventures in reading other Warhammer 40k books and short stories outside the book club books, so please stay a while and read from a crag. Yeah, I got nothing tonight. I'm brain fried, I think.
Get you some roach killer. Or don't because you live in Colorado.
Okay. Yep. See, just went ahead and mark this, that this was the moment that we broke up.
Fine. Get you some... You can't see the chartreuse. Okay, so go get you some roach killer because you probably need it.
Yep, I want a divorce. Good night, everybody.